There's a clearing in the west. The meadow is lush and colorful and so dense it's unsafe for a rider. For a couple of minutes, you lead Magenta with a rope, avoiding the potential disaster in case of a hoof falling into an animal den. Being forced to travel around the palisade every time you get here is going to be a pain. Most of the tree trunks look similar and have a comparable size. They were mostly likely planted when the sole purpose of being cut down and used by locals. Though cutting so many trees at once, that alone could provoke the wrath of the herds. Such a process should be spread across a couple seasons, and you can't be sure that was the case. In the west and north, the clearing turns to wild forest. In the east, you see a road leading north. Well, gotta do what the soul's gotta do. Hit the road. You're at the closed northern gate. The neglected road is partially overgrown. You hear a river in the east, separated by a lush meadow, filled with crickets and rodents. I'll have to look closer at the gate. That might be a little too close to the goblins. Head to the river. You see a quenching family of boars, some of them brown, some black. Consider turning back, but they pay you little attention. After a couple of grunts, they run north. The river is not too wide, yet unusually deep, with banks altered by locals for decades, if not centuries. The water is cold and clean, yet filled with long plants growing from the bottom. You would rather avoid jumping inside or drinking from it, but you're tempted to at least wash your face, neck, and hands. Dozens, if not hundreds of small fish are looking for tasty leaves, but also try to avoid their predators. A dance of life, completely unaware of your presence. You suddenly realize there's something else buried among the kelp. A rusty sickle sticking out of the ground, a couple of stone axes and hoes. The wooden handles and a large wagon are covered with moss. But you recognize their shape. Why would someone drop them here? On the opposite bank, the meadow turns into a thick forest, impenetrable for a rider. I guess I'll turn back. Yeah, I could do a fish trap. I wonder if I could wash myself while I do the fish trap. You place the basket on the ground, then grab a bowl and start digging, looking for a few larger worms. You bait the stick and push it inside the basket, locking behind the side, then cover the entrance with a lid. Tying it together takes you a few good moments, but it'll be easier later on. You attach the entire trap to a bush and push it into the stream, far enough that it sinks entirely. Who knows how long it will take before something large enough swims inside. Still, it would be better to not wait too long, otherwise the prey might die of hunger. Alright, while that's happening, I can go and wash myself. The living stream filled with fish and plants won't help you much. The oak ash soap you own can help you get cleaner. Oh, I'm as clean as I can get, never mind then. Alright, I guess I'll inspect the fish trap tomorrow. From here, we can move on into the wetlands with their many streams, ponds, and fish. Large birds run and fly between the gray, sparse trees that are covered with moss, mushrooms, and critters. For a human, it may be unwelcoming in a harsh realm, but the overwhelming swarms of insects prove that it's a realm full of life. The danger, with teeth and claws, is hidden below the water's surface. Step away from the banks. This plant shouldn't be alive, not without leaves. It doesn't resemble the other trees of the wetlands. It's something else. Is this one of the trees the pagans worship? You get off your horse, prepare your axe. The water is filled with dirt and dead plants, and it smells like an old corpse. The roots are spreading fast, breaking through the water's surface. You don't see any saurians, and no grasses are on the shore. You approach the table-like altar made of 3 limestone slabs. Were these rocks originally as formless as they are now, or was there a point in time, centuries ago, when they were precisely shaped and decorated by masters of artistry? There's no way to tell. Oh, did I look at the saurian? Oh yeah, we did. You approach the table like, nope, you've already gone through that. Magenta is peacefully observing the dark grass and slapping flies with its tail. Whatever it is that you feel in the air, it's clear that your companion sees this placed through very different eyes. A smile scratched at the bottom of its neck. Go ahead, I'll look around for just a moment. I know there are dark forces hidden in here. I asked the right for a vigilant eye and a bright soul. Yeah, this feels a little odd. You bow your head, trying to imagine a appropriate ritual. Whenever you start a thought, it runs away to the sounds of insects, visions of predators, smells of muddy water. You rub your hands, focusing on what's in your grasp, collecting your wits slowly. Takes a few moments, but you start breathing without sensing the stench. You arrange all the chaotic images into a cohesive utterance. Your prayer is brief, but once it's done, you feel prepared. Okay, let's approach the altar. There's a clumped dirt and uneven nicks, fused by years of winds and rain. The bottom surface of the table is dusty, but you don't find any spiderwebs or mold, even though it's a perfect spot for them. I wonder if someone used this recently. The tree roots cling to the altar in many spots. They're firmly attached. You struggle to move them even by an inch. Doesn't make sense. They are tree roots. The cream-colored limestone is cold and smooth. Try to make an offer. What would I offer? No, I only have one rations. Try something else? No, I'll walk away. I'll have to look into water. You step cautiously without knowing how deep it gets. You have to consider that a saurian could be camouflaged in mud, waiting for a victim to get near. Since you don't plan to kneel down and drink, you're hoping to dodge a potential strike. Once you get closer, you start breathing again. While the water is dirty, it's also shallow. You see the vegetation, swimming insects, and even small fish. All of them stay away from the tree roots, which look like a spider web converting at the bottom of the pond. Aside from that, you don't see anything that would catch your attention. Huh. I guess we just move on. It's not like I don't even know what to put. And I don't want to waste my food. I only have one rations anyway. So I guess what's next is... Hold on. Which way are we supposed to head? I think it was north. Let's take a closer look at the roots. You kneel in front of one that's lying on the shore. It's brown, covered with hair that resembles that on your arm. When you touch it, it's moist, soft, and warmer than you'd expect. Hair. Why did it have hair? Did it do something with this? How about we just... Can I poke it with axe? You can't do that, or I don't understand you. Fantastic. Poke. The root is moist, soft, and weirdly warm. That's not a root. Something's up here. That's not how tree roots work. How about I strike it? The root is flexible and stretchy. Your blunt hits sink into it like it's a pillow. Whenever you lean away, it returns to its original shape. What is this thing? Can I slice it? Or cut it? Pull out your knife, then stop in place. You can't tell what the results of wounding the tree would be. Well, now I have to find out. The cut is swift, but the nimble root is difficult to hold. Backs down into the water and pulled by the rest of the creature, leaving a trail of red bubbles and mud. The water quiets down a few minutes later. Chuck of the root is still in your fingers, so you move it into a jar from your bundles. Your hand is now covered with red, sticky goo, smelling like rusty nails and sweet fruits mixed with beer. You reach for a water skin and wash the plant's juices from your skin. Okay, that was gross. So that's not normal. But it's not like it's attacking me. What happens if I go to the inventory? Weird root. A hybrid between wood and flesh, covered with hair and partially sunk in its own red ooze. When taken out, it twitches on its own. What if I put the root there? What was it called? A weird root. A weird root. Okay, does that mean it's not in my... No, I still have it. Okay. I guess we'll have to leave for now. Let's just move on and... I don't know, maybe ask someone about this? That's strange. And uncomfortable to think about. Which way were you headed again? Go to journal. Right, I think it was north. You slow down. Among the shrubs, a small pack of dragonlings is feasting on the carcass of a grey orc. Oh, hold on, it's an orc. Oh, it's not here. One of them, with red feathers on its arms, straightens up and gives you a curious glance. Its head tilts left and right, forward and back. It screeches at you, but doesn't move forward and returns to its meal. You wonder what would happen if you were on foot. Would they let you be, satisfied with their prey? Would they run after you? But if so, for what reason? For now, you have enough space to move forward. Let's stay safe. Powerful jaws break the monster's bones loudly and bite off and swallow chunks of meat. Yeah, I don't want to fall. I kind of want to find that out. Anything you can learn besides that? Dragonlings. They're fast and bipedal, often as tall as a human. Travelers encounter their packs near the roads. They're used to chasing their prey with an extra advantage in an empty field than in the forests. They have thick, dragon-like skin, powerful jaws, short hands. Some of them are partially covered with furs. Interesting. Yeah, furs. You wouldn't think that. Maybe feathers at best. Beast folk. Many believe that talking about beast folk brings bad luck. It's difficult to even judge if there's such a thing as a pure specimen. Each of them partially resembles another animal. A boar, wildcat, bear, owl, lizard. It don't matter if they have long tails, fangs, tusks, claws, or antlers, they're always bipedal and seemingly capable of working together. Packs, some people say, others call them tribes. These mysterious creatures show up all across the realm, hunting for animals as well as travelers. It's not clear how smart they actually are. They don't use weapons nor speak, yet seem to partially understand human behavior. Even Wright's tablets describe a woman who used to trade with beast folk before they ate her. The smallest beast folks, usually with wolf-like heads, are known as gnolls. While threatening in large numbers, in small groups they don't present a problem for a skilled, confident fighter. Gargoyles. While capable of flying, these large predators spend most of the time on the ground, using their dexterous paws to set up spots where they can stand still. even for days. Such camouflage ambushes are seldom noticed by distracted running prey. Like many other monsters, they hope to avoid combat, aiming to feast quickly, then look for a new hunting spot, ready to starve for weeks at a time. I wonder they're called gargoyles. Goblins. These furry critters can move both on two legs and on all fours. While they resemble apes, they spend most of their time on the ground, capable of hunting for prey and seeking new temporal shelters. Many people, both in the monasteries of the Orders of Truth and at the marketplace, argue how smart a goblin can really get. It's clear that they can fight with a pointed stick or pick up an abandoned sword, but it looks like they can't even start their own fire nor speak. Nevertheless, some people call their lairs camps. Golems. Magical sentinels are not a single shell, but rather a group of levitating limbs, flexibly changing their position when necessary. It can be made of stone, clay, timber, but even weirder materials such as animal bones, straw, or iron. Their shells have no heart, no eyes, voice, muscles. While you've seen some of them in Hovlaven, you have no clue how they work. I leave that to the mages. Harpies. They look like a hybrid of a goblin and a bat. While they're much stronger than the common birds of prey, they're infamous for their cowardice. They only attack in great numbers, selecting targets that seem to be alone or weakened, often trying to scare away other predators from their prey. That's good to know. Howlers. Howlers are monkeys of strong limbs and tails, though still not as dangerous as apes. Instead of using weapons, they fill their territories with otherworldly calls and are harmful to most creatures, including humans. While their furs are often seen as beautiful, they don't have impressive claws or teeth, and their meat is seen as unsavory. Still, the books of rites churches mention a few grand battles over land between howlers and humans. Hunt lords. Hunt lords and hunt queens spend their lives trying to take over the land of their opponents or looking for a promising mate, though only for the time it takes to copulate. They can quickly run, climb, and jump on four paws, but are also more than confident fighting on their hind legs. Larger and stronger than a bear, they're known to be perfect killers. A deafening roar which cuts through the air whenever they finish their hunt, can be heard every night. Well, how does it look like? Large cats. While the smaller wildcats are too afraid of humans to attack them, the larger species are among the strongest and most successful hunters living in the north. Strong and heavy enough to kill a boar with a single strike, but also able to remain so silent and patient that most people won't even spot them in the taller meadows. Their skins are usually turned into expensive pelts. They are not valued for their meat nor their bones, but some people value the jewelry and clothing made of their claws and tusks. Yet believe they bring bad luck on those who live close to the wilderness. Because of that, they're usually worn by the witches of merchants. Peplers we already read about, runners we already read about, saurians. Spiders. The most dangerous types inhabit ruins or very lush and dark parts of the forest. They sit all by themselves in their webs, waiting for critters that have lost their way. Some are large like cattle, some strong enough to cut through a human's shell with their legs. Others use a poison-like substance that destroys their prey's flesh. It's impossible to list all the unique tricks they can use to strike first or to defend themselves. Tree ants. They are tall creatures with thick, hard skin and exceptional patience. Ah! That might have been a tree ant. They're slow, but thanks to their camouflage, every now and then they hit and knock out smaller creatures, then devour them whole. Since they don't have leaves, they usually grow along wetlands or hills, where they resemble plants that struggle with those harsh conditions, though it's not a rule. That must have been what it was. Trolls. Trolls are merciless predators that move through the forest in small groups and devour as many creatures as they can catch, trying to satiate their seemingly endless hunger. Whenever they arrive in a new area, the majority of local wild game runs for their lives, which also causes the migration of predators. Only the largest monsters, such as dragons, peplars, or unicorns, don't feel threatened by a troll family. The rest instinctively avoid any signs of their presence. They're massive, heavy creatures with powerful, long arms. Fighting them requires a team of experienced fighters and is considered to be a righteous effort. Letting them be can put a heavy burden on the local wilderness. Witnesses claim that trolls can also be attacked by the wrath of herds. The priests of the United Church, however, deny the validity of such rumors. The Wrath of the Herds. I don't know what that is. I should probably know that as a Unite. Undead, we've already read. Unicorns. These massive beasts covered with thick brown fur are named after the horns sticking out of their skulls, often larger than a human shell. They move on 4 legs. Like the horn is larger or the bodies are larger? They move on 4 legs in dense forests and open meadows, but since they avoid settlements or even commonly used roads, they are shrouded in mystery, with legends and rumors that often contradict one another. The unicorns are among the most feared creatures of the Dragonwoods, infamous for holding a crucial role in the wrath of the herds. They charge in the front, able to get through wooden and most stone walls with a single crash, ignoring the wounds they receive in the process. Their part is then done, other beasts can get inside, not bothering with the defenders. Wolves. Oh, already read that. Okay. Well, that's important to know. Wish I read that tree on entry before. I wonder what would happen if you were on foot. We already went through this. Okay. So I ride forward, but I keep my distance and look over my shoulder. The beaten road serves your pal very well. The forest to your left becomes sparse and brighter, and there are dozens of human-made paths among the fruit-bearing trees. On your right, there's a large pasture with at least a dozen massive mouflons. What the heck's a mouflon? Is that a tree? 2 of them already sheared. No, it's like a sheep. Look comically small. Soon after that, you ride alongside vast, flourishing fields filled with rye, still green, preparing itself patiently for the second harvest. The path ends with a massive wooden gate. The stone wall, separating you from the glow of the lights behind it, isn't as tall as the roofs, but you can't imagine climbing to its top. There are pretty much no cracks, no missing bricks, a sign of many hours of labor, especially considering how massive the settlement is, as wide as a city district. What time is it, by the way? Okay, we got 10 hours. The birds and monkeys are now just a distinct echo, replaced with the sounds of carts running, hammers, saws, laughter, and shouts. Finally, I can rest here. Would I feel comfortable in large settlements? Maybe it reminds me too much of the city. Maybe there's a higher chance someone's gonna recognize me. A young man is leaning against the closed gate, covered by its shadow. He's young, tan, and has a short, elegantly trimmed red beard. Beneath the green gambeson, he wears an expensive tunic decorated with colorful trim. From his arm hangs a steel helmet, though the metal is so thin that it's almost made of wool and leather. He moves into the light and takes on the posture of a disciplined soldier, not a mercenary. He's standing upright with his chin up. There are 2 weapons on the ground, leaning on the wooden beams of the gate. An axe made of steel and a wooden club. Doesn't reach for either. He dismounts smoothly, still having some vigor left. Magenta holds its tail high. A narrow path yields north, toward 2 field workers, one with the hoe and one with a pitchfork. They wave to you. You can't see their face, but their clothes are simple: gray pants and vest made from hemp and wool. It's better to keep my distance. I just approach the guard. Yeah, I don't even know what. Might be pagans. I don't know what settlement this is yet. I'm guessing this is, what's it called? Hallersdale. The guard smiles, yet avoids your eyes and has to clear his throat before he speaks. Welcome, traveler. If you're here to make trouble, Hallersdale welcomes you. We have the widest flower there is. When he bows, you realize it's a well-practiced performance. If it's new garments you're looking for, you can order everything you need right here in all colors, shapes, and sizes. Capes, boots, vests, robes, or if you're yourself a master of the needle, I can assure you we have the fabric you're looking for. I wouldn't call myself a master, but I do have a needle. This is Hallersdale. Like I thought. Okay, that's good. His act is over and he glances at your mount in a moment of silence. His eyes get wider as he observes it with childlike fascination. Ah, the first time you've seen a horse? helps me patrol the roads. You can pet its side if you want, but no sudden movements. Yeah, let's not risk it. Maybe stay at a distance. I don't want to be responsible for, yeah. I'm Lito, your new Roadwarden. Here to see your mayor. City folk, eh? Mayor's busy, but I'll ask her. Give us a moment to let you in. He knocks at the gate, which is then pulled inwards by two other guards, a man and a woman, wearing their own gambesons, similarly green but tailor-made to match their figures. The nearby buildings are simple houses made of wooden beams and covered with thatch, while the storehouse is even more modest, with a roof made of planks. The watchtower has a ladder made of ropes and sticks, no stairs. Just give me a moment. The guard strides away before he finishes the last word. The others close the gate behind you and observe your mount carefully. Your eyes turn east to a humming creek running through the center of the village. I guess we just gotta wait then. Calming sound, eh? That's a Howler's Creek. The guard, like most of the locals, is taller than you. Wide but shallow. There's never been a flood in years. Pa told me there used to be 8 bridges. Neighbors crossed it with their boots in their hands. And 'tis clean like a raindrop, but there aren't many fish. We're the cleanest village in the north. A companion chuckles brightly. The guard returns, he's still alone. She can not come see you now. A friend of mine is in labor, eh? The mayor wants to be there when the child arrives, but I asked to show you the village. Yeah, sure, fine. We can wait. You got hours. He approaches the watchtower. Time out here, we'll keep the kids away. Most of the neighbors are getting ready to celebrate. Oh yeah, the kid, huh? Once you're done, he grabs the rope ladder. The view from up there is gorgeous. No, I don't think it's a trap. This is too big to be a trap. I'll climb up after him. The ladder swings in all directions. The guard gets to the top quickly, like a monkey climbing up creepers. You, on the other hand, need to stop and wait for the ladder to calm itself. You join the man on the wooden platform. You're a bit dizzy. He's leaning on the wooden parapet, observing the area with a smile. Look around. See? There's no place like Howler's Den. The guard points in every direction, giving you no time to contemplate. For the next few minutes, he describes the fields and their crops, the flocks and the pastures, and the shepherds inspecting the fences, the ancient garden of trees and brushes larger than the village itself, the sunlight dancing on the stream to its own tune. If you are to believe everything he describes, this place has access to everything in abundance. The sweetest honey, the most fragrant bread, the softest wool. And the beer, 'tis excellent. He sounds like a city merchant who's trying to sell an old house. I'm not trying to live here, An annoying kid near Havlavin, you can find 5 larger and richer settlements in less than 2 days. I wonder he's proud. Why wouldn't he be? They've tamed this scrap of land and live in comfort. Yeah, I mean, it's no city, but they're so far away from the city. The islet is the middle, connects both parts of the village. According to the man, the northern gate is hardly ever opened, as it leads nowhere now. Near the eastern gate, there's the 8 Bale Inn, where you can find a bed and victuals. And there's the stall. Kekios rewards our work, unless we annoy him with pointless talk. That's out a chuckle. On the opposite side of the creek, there's another white house. It belongs to Bion. The best Clodia in the north. The priests live in the southeast, near the wall, but they do not talk to strangers. You also hear about the hunter, the cooper, the fisher, the miller. The pie maker lives with his sister, the baker. The smith and her husband, the carpenter, live with their kids. Some of the largest buildings could accommodate 2, maybe even 3 generations at once. There could be more than 100 dwellers here. Consider stopping his speech, but he suddenly points at the islet again. There, see, the mayor's coming, the one wearing purple. You're free to join her, traveler. Purple? That's some fancy dye. I nod and climb down. Try to get down quickly, but 2 steps are enough to make you sure that it's a bad idea. You wait for the ladder to find its balance. You're relieved when you touch the ground again. You untie your palfrey and follow the guard. You pass a small pasturage, surrounded by a wooden fence, a few loose chickens, and a tethered boar. The fancier buildings are covered with a whitewash coating, surrounded with vegetables, herbs, and flowers. The bridges are wide enough to carry even a wagon, but for Magenta, walking on the wooden beams is far from pleasant. The islet is empty, but you notice an empty stall painted with shapes of colorful flowers. Okay, I walk over to the second bridge. Along the entire path, you notice more and more people observing you, smiling, or casually greeting you as they're focused on their own tasks. Oh, mighty friendly. Finally, you reach the main square. A large tree grows in the center, surrounded by dark water held together by a thin wall. Perfect for sitting, but the smell coming from the liquid makes you think of rotten eggs. The plant reminds you of the tree you saw in the south, next to the swamp altar. It's not like this is a tree ant. Right? Nah, it couldn't be. North you see the 8-Bell Inn, judging by the tables, stools, and branches outside of it. So I'm thinking this is the 8-Bell Inn. This is the tree that looks like it. I think it's only looks like it because it doesn't have any leaves. It is suspicious how this one doesn't have any leaves. The others do. It's not autumn yet. The villagers are chatting and dining loudly, and you catch their curious glances. On the side of the dining table, an old man is sitting by himself eating a pie, with a walking stick leaning against the table. A young woman is cleaning the empty mugs in the creek, speaking with a man at least twice her age, maybe her father. Well, first I need to find a spot to tether Magenta. There's a wide wooden roof right next to the gate that shelters crates, carts, and sacks. You move your mount next to a donkey to a beam placed here just for this purpose. With a moment of hesitation, Magenta starts to chew on the nearby haystack. You have some time to make sure it doesn't struggle with your bundles. You return to the inn. Okay, well, let's look for the mare. She's sitting on a chair with the 4-year-old boy on her knees. She's holding his hand gently, showing him how to eat gruel from a bowl. It's not a cheap meal, though. You spot nuts, berries, and milk. The added honey makes it yellowish. The kid is clean and quiet, and once he notices your arrival, he crams his mouth with a spoonful of oats. Now, love, the mare titters. Do nie get distracted. She rubs the meal off his face. A few more spoons, you'll go help Papa in the kitchen, eh? She gives you a radiant, though apologetic smile, and turns her attention back to her companion. Huh, that must be your kid. And what, or her husband works the inn? Her long, full-sleeved linen dress must have been dyed once in blue and once in red in order to achieve its dark fancy purple, which would draw eyes even of Lavin. Ah, I see, so it's not purple dye, huh? From her left shoulder hangs a green woolen cape, as thin as a shawl. The brown belt on her waist has a large steel buckle that portrays a running deer with unrealistically large antlers growing in all directions like tree branches. Unlike her tribesfolk, she's pale, with powdered and rouged cheeks, and her lips match her outfit, though they're a bit closer to wine red. The thick, gray strands in her long, blonde hair look more like a fashion choice than a result of aging. Her eyes are the color of her cape, keen and vigorous. She's shorter than most people around, though would still be the tallest woman in most of the northern settlements. While she's around 40, her slim hands add fragility to her appearance. Even though her posture is upright, her legs confidently crossed and her delicate voice assertive. She makes plenty of gestures, but her shoulders hardly ever move. I need no invitations. I sit down on a bench. Wait, what does that mean? Like I sit on a bench across from her? No, that's fine. I can just wait. After a few minutes, the boy lets out a gentle cough, and after a pat on the back, the mare puts him on the ground. You did a great job, love. But now I need to speak with our guest, darling. She addresses one of the inn workers, a girl close to 15. Take him to father, will you? Her tone suddenly gets firmer, leaving no hint of a question or suggestion. Yes, Ma, she responds. Both her hair and her eyes are nothing like those of her brother. Neither of the kids resemble their mother. So we have a Roadwarden again. Please, sit down. She vaguely shows you the palm of her hand, letting you pick any place you want. Since I'm her guest, I sit on a bench next to her, sit on the stool opposite her. I'm here as a trade partner. Not exactly. But it's probably appropriate that I keep that distance. You have a good look at the inn's front door, leading to a cellar-like ground floor. It's dark, with crates and barrels covered with fruits, nuts, and vegetables. The actual inn is upstairs, but the only people who go in and out are the workers, most of whom are teenagers. The mayor observes your outfit carefully, maintaining a polite, though cool smile. Once your eyes meet, she hardly ever looks away. I'm sure you're hungry. My husband will bring us something soon. No food is free. I'm not hungry, thanks. It's like, no, I'll appreciate it. It's not like I'm not hungry. Didn't mention it. Hunger makes me peevish, and the day is too nice for that. She taps her chest and looks at a flock of birds that fly above you loudly, heading south. As we're waiting, be so good as to help me understand something. Ever, if you're but a mercenary, I cannot imagine a single reason for you to choose this realm for your wandering, and so long after Asterion's disappearance. That's a glory or treasure to find here. Pale fingers form a tent on her stomach, then clasped, leaving the four fingers pointing at you. You were sent here by the merchants. They want the peninsula. What? No. What? No. I represent Halavan's interests as an opportunity. I portray the situation as lightly as I can. I simply explain the situation. I make it clear that collaborating with the city would keep her people safe. Well, she caught me. I don't hide the fact that the guild needs new opportunities. I guess I have to get vulnerable with this. Play close to the chest. Just gotta explain it. Introduce yourself and confirm your suspicions. The guild and the deputy are in agreement. They are willing to send troops to this place, defend the settlements, and patrol the roads. They'd cover their pay. You'd only have to look after their board and lodgings. You explain that the rate of taxes is open to negotiation, but they would be taken twice a year in spring and fall. You have time to think about it, you assure her, and you're free to consult with your people. Safer roads bring many travelers, artisans, merchants. I know you realize it's an opportunity. Yes, I do. She finally interrupts you. But roads bring other people as well. Not all of them desired by us. She observes your palfrey. She twists her deer buckle, left and right and left. The times have changed, and your superiors were kind enough to send a messenger, not a temple guard with a list of demands. She grabs the buckle with her fist. But when it comes to the guild, there's always a catch. Her accent is now almost identical to the one used in the city. I'm telling you everything I know. I can't ask you to trust me, but I'm not hiding anything. You don't have to trust anyone blindly. Negotiations could satisfy both sides. You're speaking from experience, I'm assuming. Yeah, she does seem to have a history. I really sound that confident? She titters and waves her hand by her chin, as if you just offered her a compliment. I've seen such negotiations during my studies, though I can't say I look an active part in them. Let me show you an example. She theatrically clears her throat, patting her chest with one hand and covering her mouth with another. Then leans forward and rests on her elbows, allowing her hands to freely make gestures. You make a deal with the settlement, flour and wool in exchange for coin and tools. You send the first traders, and they imply that you're ready to pay for more. You're ready to pay more for, let's say, parchment. Months later, you want no more rye, just the parchment and wool. We cannot barter any more Marflins, the locals say. Don't worry, you answer. We'll send you a small flock. Just turn one of your fields into a pasturage. As she pretends to speak as different characters, her voice comically shifts, and she has no issue switching between accents. Let's just keep a straight face. She swings her hand above the table. Now the year goes by, and while there's more parchment, the village lacks some crops. The tribe needs not just tools and coins, plenty of coins, but also seeds. The guild is not satisfied. Sending your wagons costs a lot, and there are more highwaymen now. If you want us to come again, you need more Malflins and to sell us their cheese. And guess what? With a haunting laugh, she straightens up and spreads her arms like someone a third her age. Turns out that the village can't say no anymore. They lack supplies, seeds, and land. They can't refuse. Okay. I nod. She's right. It's better not to say anything stupid. Don't you think the city would see value in keeping you strong if you're a risk for them? I smile. I have no doubt that a smart leader like yourself is going to protect the people from these games. Yeah, it's just better not to say anything stupid. Let's wait till she gets to her point. Pauses and linger for long. I see we understand each other. Let's finish the introductions. I'm Thias, one of the keepers of the Ape Ale Inn and mayor of Howler's Den. I assume it would be convenient for you to take my answer back to Havlavin. She wanders for a moment. Say, when could we expect the first caravan? After winter? It depends on what you can sell and what you want in return. While the conversation goes on, the food gets served. The refreshing aroma of roasted mutton, covered with a thick sauce made of mint, parsley, and honey, tempts you to bite in right away. The juices are sinking into the round texture, a plate made of simple brown bread. There's also a small bowl filled with chopped red radishes and sliced boiled egg, and a mug filled with cold buttermilk. God, that sounds so good. Rife have mercy, I want to dig in. It's all brought by a few young people, all of them referring to the mayor as their mother, and in the end, the innkeeper shows himself to wish you a good meal. He's wearing a clean orange tunic and a not-so-clean apron made of hemp. He politely introduces himself as Eric's, and, after confirming you won't get sick from what he prepared, he leaves you and his wife to your conversation. Thias tears the meat into smaller pieces and eats slowly, often expressing an enjoyment with a hum. Right. Wonder if they're adopted. Meanwhile, we'll get to the important stuff. Sounds like the nearby ground is fertile. The village would gladly pay its taxes, grains, and vegetables, with the expectation that squad of soldiers would provide adequate additional protection. Our youth is strong, she claims proudly, so we don't need your guards or our walls. We don't need your guards on our walls, but a lone Roadwarden won't keep the roads passable. We need fighters willing to patrol the paths, maybe even the heart of the woods. That's what we expect in return. You're not an expert when it comes to linen, cheese, and wool, so the mayor spends a good couple of minutes describing the outstanding quality of what the village has to offer, especially the clothes, which are meant to be as unique as those made by Master Crispus. You vaguely recognize the name of this tailor shoemaker, but you've never earned enough to pay him for as much as a single sleeve. And of course, we will never reject some steel and bronze. We lack alloys for sickles and scythes. She then repeats her question about starting a trade route. Again, this is above my analysis. Truth be told, the guild is not sure what the peninsula has to offer. It's going to take more than your village to convince them. Understandable, but you won't find much in the other tribes. They have barely enough to survive, even after they trade for our crops, for we have the only decent soil in this realm. At least the people of Gale Rocks have salt and barrels of fish, while creeks sell meat and woods. Actually, if you haven't been in creeks yet, the farthest village in the northeast, you could give them a chance. She nods with a smile. They could use your help with keeping the road safe. White marshes, on the other hand, as well as old Pagos, are close to worthless. For a trade route, that is. She clears her throat. After these words, she stands up, walks to another table, and offers her trencher to an elderly man who sits there by himself. With a trembling voice, he thanks her, then starts to chew on the soggy bread. She sits down, wipes her hand into a clean cloth, adjusts the folds of her cape, and once again crosses her legs. So tell me, Leto, how's Vlavin? I haven't gathered much news since the invasion. She's good. I can tell she's putting on a show. She's always like this. But at least I know to go check out creeks, Gale Rocks, White Marshes I was already heading to, and Old Pagos. Let's see. Things stay humble, but are starting to look brighter. The harbor is full of life and the kids grow strong. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. Not everyone has their own bed, but the new generation is ready to start their own fight. It's far from great. Children who lost their parents during the war have no trade in hand, and there's not enough settlements to send them away. Many people are unable to prosper. Well, let's not go there. We do want to sell the city, right? Yeah, things stay humble, but are starting to look brighter. The harbor is full of life, and the kids grow strong. I was hoping to hear that. Her smile shines with kindness. I thought they were done for, losing all those ships and getting cut off from so many tribes. I was surprised the soldiers didn't butcher all the priests and traders to fill their stomachs. It felt so unavoidable that I even came back home afraid for my life. But I still carry memories of that place, some of them warm. I'm glad the others haven't given up. Her smile fades away and she speaks without looking in your direction, giving you a moment of rest. The first time I crossed the city walls and saw the streets, my soul saw them as if they were made of dragon bones, not stone. All those people and the noise and the hot houses and this life happening all around me. But after only 2 years, everything collapsed for the first time in human memory, like a burning dollhouse. She pauses, rests her hands on her stomach, and turns back to you. But don't let me drag you away from your duties. How can I help you, Leto? Well, outside of that, probably in a lot of ways. Looking for a Asterion? What would it take to make you consider joining Havlavin? Have you heard of the necromancers in the north? You seem to be fairly well off, even more so than the other people in the village. What's your secret? Now, let's ask first about Asterion. She stares you in the eyes, then turns towards Magenta. Is your palfrey a mare? You have 2 jacks. Could use some mules. Stallions won't give you anything stronger than a hinny. It is, but I need to stay strong and healthy. Why are you asking? Yeah, I needed to stay strong and healthy. I'm confused. Right, there's no time for romances of draught animals. It would take almost a year, correct? It was all just a thought. When her eyes returned to you, they regained their sharpness. I'd rather avoid long talks about that man and let him remain as part of the past spring. Since you're asking about him, I can only assume he's indeed sharing his goal with yours. I don't know anything about it. I'll get paid for finding him, that's all. What do you mean, goal? As in he was here to sell you the city? Or sell the peninsula to the city? I won't deny that. I can't deny that. I'm not sure what you're saying. You sit without a word, listening to the creak until she sighs exaggeratedly. Why are you doing this to me, traveler? Now I have to figure out if you're lying or simply wrong. Back to your question, she takes a deep breath. Staring is not welcome here, and I don't know where he went. Well, yeah, you don't seem to like him much. What are his wrongdoings? If you have to know, he failed, and won't get a second chance. He was meant to escort Aegidia, a daughter of mine, to her betrothed in Gale Rocks. She was a great archeress, and the road from here to the coast is not that dangerous. When they saw goblins on the road, it's their order to push through, right into the trap. She touches her deep, deer-shaped buckle. They got jumped, like a bunch of wealthy pilgrims. A Roadwarden with their gruel should know better. He can fight with a blade, but my girl, she never had a chance. Oh, damn. She sighs and looks at the gate. He disappeared soon after his pitiful attempt at apologizing to me. We closed our doors behind him, for good. I'll let you know if he ever tries to return. That's better not to ask about your daughter. Better not to ask about that. Neither of which will help me find him. Any ideas where I can look for him? She adjusts her cape with an annoyed shrug. Try asking for him in the north. He spends most of his time between white marshes, gale rocks, and creeks. Here, he wasn't that eager to share his plans. That makes sense. Still, better not to push these. Thanks for the help. I wonder, back in Havlavin, did you spend any time in Backwood Corner? It used to be this dark, dirty alley with muggers, working even in daylight. I stayed there with Octavia, the miller, in exchange for doing chores for her. She had this small wooden hut. Is she trying to find out about my past? Since the war, even the soldiers have avoided that street. People say it's home for thugs. You wouldn't recognize it, it's now a respectable street. But one of the fanciest inns in the city, the Apple and the Boar. It'll make you feel like you're in the old days. The Boarhead Inn is almost 50 years old now. There's no such street anymore. It fell to a great fire. Yeah, since the war, even soldiers avoided that street. People say it's a home for thugs. Not that I've ever been there. We'll keep that to our chest. Oh dear, is that so? Maybe it was bound to happen. Kindness and hospitality don't bloom in days of hunger. I hope the good old lady of the Boarhead Inn didn't have to see to that. She did her best to keep the children off the street. It must have been heartbreaking to see them turn against each other. Right. I feel like there's always... She's good at this. Whatever she's doing. Trying to get information out of me. I could ask about the tree. Let's save that towards the end. I don't want it to, end up having committed a cultural faux pas by cutting off that tree ant part. Let's leave the necromancer talk for later. Yeah, you seem to be fairly well off, even more so than the other people in the village. What's your secret? She reaches for her buckle and her voice grows cold. There's no secret, traveler. There's hard work, risk, and sacrifices, and the support of those that care about me. The good things that happen to me shine on my people just as much. Think about it before you mention it again. She adjusts her cape. Okay, wow. You're the one who spoke so poorly of the others. What can you tell me about Halversdale? It is what it seems like, the greatest village in the far north. She raises her hand and makes an inviting gesture. Though I hope to still improve this and that, she winks at you, but is suddenly interrupted by the pained cry of a little boy who hurt his knee during a fall. As an amused elder tries to calm him down, the mayor shrugs it off and tithers, then meets your eyes again. Life's good here. We have what we need, a lot of what we want. Building on top of more than 12 generations of hard work and bravery. She spends a few good minutes telling you about mouflons, wheat, rye, hemp, cheese, and wool, proud of every glimpse of prosperity. Whenever she mentions an artisan, shepherd, or farmer, she doesn't miss a chance to mention how significantly she improved their conditions. Yeah, she's good at this. She also omits some topics. You hear of no tales, songs, ancestor rituals, or days of prayer. It's like listening to a tax collector. Only at the very end of her speech does she mention the wisdom of the elders, now kept in teachings of the druids who help her guide those who trust her. They heal our wounds in our gardens, she explains, but then changes the topic to all fruit, trees, hairs, and nuts in the woods. She's trying to sell me as much as I'm trying to sell her. When she's done with it, I nod politely. Tell me, how do people dress in the city these days? Similar to what we have here? Before the war, the merchants were wearing those really long dresses and robes, way too long for my taste. They got mud stains after every rain, and I see no reason to keep shoes completely hidden. She's trying to find out something, although I'm not sure what. Not anymore. There's always a shortage of fabrics. Most people wear tunics like in the old days. I'm not trying to say no. We don't want to undersell. For years, there wasn't enough hemp and wool at hand, so people have started to wear furs again. As far as I can tell, many folks wear headgear. I'm not sure. I don't pay much attention to fashion. Let's go with that. She pushes you with more detailed questions. What the merchants wear, how about priests? Do armors have enough linen and padding? You struggle to say much. She finally falls silent, observing you with annoyance. I'm not gonna let her get whatever she wants out of me. It's not just about clothes, I'm sure. Oh, she talked about the druids. Maybe I shouldn't bring up the tree. Oh, right, I was in the Pelt of the North. The innkeeper feels uneasy about Clausia's band. When he mentioned the raids on northern villages, her eyes narrow. Are you sure? It's the first I've heard about it. Glaucia has been around since years back, but she's not much of a nuisance. Hey, listen, I'm just a messenger. He's asking for you to join forces with him. Well, I can't give you my answer. I won't ask how others do endanger their lives in the pursuit of some gossip. Could ask around, learn more about this. I don't have time for this. Should I tell the innkeep that you're not interested in collaboration? No. Probably what I'll do is I could ask around. Are you going to stop me from doing that? If so, maybe he should reconsider that collaboration. She sighs with exaggerated relief. What a splendid idea. Only 3 villages in the north. White Marshes farthest north but the western road, Gale Rocks but the northern coast, and the creeks in the far east. Bring me news from those places and you will get my answer. I'm paid for passing the message from here to Pelt in the north. Asking me to ride for you through half the peninsula and back is a different deal entirely. No, that's true. That is true. Listen, coin is hard to come by. I didn't just take this job to get away from a shady past, you know. She lets out a brief chuckle, but her eyes observe you carefully. And how much are you being paid, if I can ask? Can't. Her smile disappears. Now that's just plain rude. Bring me the news and I've asked for, and I'll give you 2 dragon bones. No more, no less. That's about the same, but okay. We talk and talk, but I still don't know where you are from, Leto. What's your story? Have you lived in Halavn your entire life? In a way, I know it as well as any other city folk, but every spring I train in horsemanship in a nearby village. Only for a bit. I was raised in a small village just nearby and moved to the road after I decided to look for work as a Roadwarden. My past is already buried. Let's not dig into it. Yeah, not a huge fan of talking about it. A few heartbeats, she breaks the awkwardness with a smile. And what else bothers you in the present? Oh, right, the scavenger. Smelly dude. Ah, he's still alive, she says with distaste. Huh. He brought us some news from the north and paid off his debt to us, but he's an idler and a prattler. Drinks too. The farther away he stays from here, the better. Okay, guess I'm not bringing him here then. Yeah, about that ruined village. Her tense gaze shifts to an awkward click of her tongue as she leans away from you. I don't even want to think about that tragic fate. No one can negotiate with the wrath of the hoods. That's what happened. Long pause. And I better not find you upsetting my neighbors with these sad questions. It was a challenging time for all of us. A wound we won't forget. I think you'll let me trouble your neighbors if I like. Yeah, what about these necromancers in the north? Something the guilds are wary of. She taps her fingers on the table. Yes, I have. After you ask her to tell you more, she seems to regain her confidence. You mean White Marshes for sure. I don't know all that stuff. All that much about what's happening here. We avoid their lands if we can. She frowns. I shouldn't gossip about it with strangers. We could talk about it on another occasion. Fair enough. But I'm gonna go to the White Marshes anyway. Saw a weird tree from here, the one with the altar standing in front of it. She straightens up and raises her chin. You mean Beholder, the guardian spirit of our wetlands. Every fall, we bring it our gifts, and in return, it provides us with its blessed fruit. The flesh of the forest. She stares into your eyes. It's older than the oldest books. and the oldest thoughts. The druids help us honor its sleep and show us how to ask for its help. Neither of these rituals, she scoffs, would be of any use for you. Right. Yeah, let's not tell her that I cut off a piece of beholder. Just before I leave, if you want to reassert what you're looking for out of Havlavin. I can't consider it right now. While she laughs, her eyes remain keen. But if you want me to give you some answers, let's see. She looks up and to the right, theatrically raising her hand to her chin. Some gestures of goodwill will be a good start. Since you're the guild's messenger, I need to know you can be relied on. She gives you a wide, white grin. And that's only the first step, I assume? Of course. Do you even have the power to handle tax negotiations? She scoffs loudly at your head shake. Huh. Do enough for my village and I'll hand you a beautiful signed letter. A list of all the things my neighbors are looking for, as well as what they can give in return. Your superiors are going to see more than enough to prepare their offer. She rubs her hands. I think that's fair. Do enough for my village is a bit vague. And it is a bit vague. She nods towards the people gathered by the tables. I'm not the ruler of this place. My friends trust me because I see things as they are and I'm willing to act. Prove that you're useful, and they'll be happy to match your efforts. I want you to succeed. She puts her hand on her chest. But we don't give strangers more than we can get from them. If you want me to argue for your favor, show us your word. Okay. Looks like we're in agreement. Perfect. One more thing, though. She puts her elbows on the table and closer to you. If you go behind my back, I'm not going to wait for a dagger. I'll end you first. She rests her chin against her open palms, giving you a disarmingly warm smile. I'm sure people already know that we have a new Roadwarden. Maybe ask around to see if anyone needs your help. The more my neighbors trust you and need you, the more willing they'll be to offer you better pay. Alright, that was threatening. Well, let's start here. What can I do for you? Ah, so kind of you to ask. Before I ask you to run, let's see how you can walk, shall we? Her eyes wander left and right, and she gestures for a nearby guard to move away. He nods, then gestures at a few other souls to follow him. While a few of the locals cast curious looks at you, they turn away as quickly as you notice them. The mayor's shining green eyes are still locked on you, and her voice is closer to a whisper. Since Asterion's disappearance, there's still trade on the roads, and not much news reaches us. Be so kind. Her flirtatious tone distracts you with how obviously fake it is, and help me learn some interesting tales about our neighbors. Back at her, you mean ones that weren't meant to reach you. See, I knew that deep down you're a true sage. She titters and straightens up, adjusting her cape without haste. Do you have something to share? The soldiers who came here in spring were meant to find a good spot for a new outpost. The squad that made camp at the southern crossroad is now nothing more than 2 people. They plan to return to Havlavin before fall. I guess it wouldn't hurt to share this. Yeah, the soldiers, that's a little too much information. Let's give something, but not everything. The soldiers who came here in the spring were meant to find a good spot for a new outpost. She smiles wildly. Don't just say. Knowing that, I'll prepare a few very tempting suggestions for the officials. After she steals her lips, she still lets out a quiet chuckle. That's all I have to say. I just got here after all. I keep thinking, surely city folk don't eat just wild game, saltfish and goats. What animals do people breed in the nearby villages? Mostly ibexes. They do well on the hills. There's a lot of mouflons. The monks need their parchment. Depends. Mostly pond fish and fowl, but some can afford to buy boars. There's barely any meat, so people need to start raise crickets and rats. Whatever people can buy, I guess. I don't eat animals when I can avoid it. No? Let's go with ibexes. They do well on the hills. It's just like the old days. I even saw some of them in the city. They are annoyingly good at climbing onto roofs and walls, but more importantly, she adjusts her dress and smiles, it means that our mouflon cheese and wool are going to be quite a commodity. Son of a bitch! Ah! She's good! She's good. She's waiting for me to learn about the raids in the north. I bring news about other parts of the peninsula. No, I think that's it. I better shut the fuck up before I reveal any more. You're in front of the Ape Ale Inn. I need a palate cleanser from a conversation. I don't know how to get that. I don't know where to look for that. What time is it? 8 hours and 30 minutes. Probably not best that I look for someplace. I think we find a way to stay at the inn. You know, the counter stands outdoors, it's not rotten or dirty, and you guessed that like the other furniture, it's brought inside every night. Eros approaches with a smile and leans on the surface with his fists. He's portly and even taller than his neighbors. He's got freckles, short gray hair, and an elegant beard. His long woolen orange tunic is a decorative cut right under the neck, and loose braids at the edges. How can I help you, traveler? His accent's heavy, nothing like his wife's. He stomps with a heavy boot and looks around as if he's just waiting to get back to his other task. His fingers are still dirty from the weeding the garden. Do you have any food rations I can buy? I do need food rations. But I could use a room, more importantly. Sure thing, he nods. Ma, kids keep it cleaner than you'd find in the city. Just tell me when you're ready. Fantastic. And I also do need food rations. Do you have any I could buy? Aye, I keep them in the hall. Smoked mutton, a sack of dried fruits, nuts, biscuits. We eat fresh here and pay with work. Coins are not worth much. When he thinks his lips move as well. Let's say 1 ring for enough food to fill you for 2 days. Pavlovin, that kind of price would buy you 3, even 4 times as much food. If you're in a mood for spending, I also have something special. Just give me a minute. He goes upstairs and returns with a small wooden box and a hand-long leather sheath. 'Tis the teeth set. You're afraid of what he's going to show you, but when he opens the box, you realize he meant teeth cleaning. See? He points at 3 different compartments. Salt, cloves, and mint. You mix whatever you want here. The 4 holds only a small pestle and made of polished stone. And here are the twigs you need. They'll last for days. Seeing you're not convinced, he takes a deep breath. Well, we do and not let outsiders bathe in our creek, but give me 2 dragons and I'll ask my kids to get you in shape. You'll get a tub with soap and rose oil, and they'll wash your clothes in water. I'll cook you something nice, as much as you can eat. Is he saying my breath smells? Does my breath smell? Show me those rations first. A bath and dinner, a teeth cleaning set. I have 5. I could afford a teeth cleaning set. Okay, fine. I'll take your teeth cleaning set. Now I'm paranoid that my breath smells. Someone dreams of a healthier smile. He rubs his hands. But before you take it, he puts the box in front of you. I've got the hazelnut twigs in the sheath, but can't replace them in any time. What taste are you looking for? I don't know. Hazelnut is fine. With a smile, he pushes his head toward you. What else do you need? I have 3 more. It's best I get 1 more ration. Need a few new rations. Yeah, that's fine. I guess we're gonna stay away from the bath for now. Best to just get some rations. Uh, while I have you, any rumors? Rumors? Nah, really. I have my own things to worry about. Neighbors keep their own company. Better for everyone to seek help from my wife or the forest speakers and a mug of ale. So no rumors, but maybe you've heard about someone who may need my help. Have you had any changes to guests recently? Had any guests at all recently? You say it as if we expect travelers to get here any day now. I'll ask around. Come tomorrow. Alright, thanks. I guess we could stay here for today. Then head back down and see the scavenger. Then head back down further. Back to the... Crap, what was it called? North Pale? Pale North. Pelt. There we go. It's called the Pelt. Alright, head back down to the Pelt. Give her half answer. Try to get more dragon coins out of Ison. And I guess make our way back here. But we got time before dusk. So maybe we can find someone to help on our own. You know, I didn't think it was going to be difficult to find work. I thought people would have heard about a Roadwarden and came running. Scavenger was sure excited to see me. But it looks like around these parts, it might take a little more work to fill my pockets with dragon coin.